Hello and welcome to Decode. First of all, thanks Nidhi and Shikhar for taking out the time to do this on Friday. You guys are the second duo we have hosted on Decode, and we're certain that this episode will be just as fun. Nidhi and Shikhar are the founders of Samosa Singh, a much-loved snack brand focused on India's snack king, samosa. The brand has been making waves in the country over the past 5 years, and I can't wait to decode these guys. It's great to have you guys here.
No, same here. Thank you,
Thank you,
Kaushal.
Varun.
Pleasure is ours.
Yeah.
So, as we are equally excited to be a part of this association, and we are always passionate about sharing our journey, how we started, discussing with fellow entrepreneurs or people who are looking into it. So, it's equally inspiring for us as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Guys, I'm going to start with, a crazy story I read about you guys. In 2016, I think you guys spent your first day in your new house, and the very next day, you kind of sold it and invested the money in the startup. The question then is clearly, what was so wrong with that house? Like,
Nice way of putting that.
on a more serious note, just tell us about, that story.
We actually
Yeah, first of all, we didn't like the house, so we had to sell it.
No, really, very nice way of putting it. Otherwise, this question comes as a very emotional kind of a question, but we take it very lightly because this was a call which was not forced onto us, but this was something which was very spontaneous. So just few months before we shifted into our home, our new home, we actually started the business. We started with a very small kitchen of about 200 square feet and just a small outlet where we would sell the samosas. The response was really nice. We started getting huge orders, and we saw potential in all those places where the samosas would be in, volumes, bulks, like multiplexes, airlines, big corporate companies who would give snacks to their evening employees and all those things. So we started approaching and we did get some new interests coming in. But the only question that kept coming back to us is how are we going to manage the volumes?
Yeah.
Our kitchen was as small as like a small bedroom setup kind of a thing, such a small space, office space. How can you even store thousands of samosas, forget about producing them? So we had a very big potential interest, very high interest, and we were very keen on kind of bagging it. See, though it's very, people say that they support startup, and yes, we have received tremendous love, no doubt about this. But when you want to get that your first big client or that first big cut, every company is little inhibited. You haven't done this before. Would you be able to do it? That's a question.
Yeah.
And Shikhar and I had that, complete confidence that there's nothing that, could be stopping us from doing it. We will do it. And in order to get that comfort done, even from the customer, even from the client, we had to have something bigger, at least a facility to be able to kind of churn out those number of orders that we had. So it was a very spontaneous move. We knew that we'll almost be able to crack that deal. And just on the hopes and the kind of gut feeling that you do, it was a very spontaneous move that we need money. We don't want to.
So actually, we were very clear, like though we had choices, like, do we want to take investment from outside? So frankly speaking, we were very new into the startup industry, and our background was very different. So we are not MBAs, so we are both technology guys from the biotechnology background. So we didn't have any much on the information about how startup industry works and these how start investments and all these things follow. So we used to work like the traditional way of working. When you if you think about the previous people with the old business mentality, so what they first thing used to come to their mind, if they have any asset, let's put that asset as a risk and start the business, because you don't know whether getting investment is the right choice at that point of time and all. So that was the like thinking behind the that time. That was a spontaneous move from our end, like let's sell this house, because for us most important right now that that time was to start in something new and to start Samosa Singh, which we had in our mind from last couple of years. And the home, because home can be built later on also, but there is no right time to start businesses. So we
So
jumped into
we
it.
jumped into it. We got a good buyer within a week. That home was sold. We were back to our base where we shifted from. And that was one time we were really, really little. I mean, I wouldn't anxious would be the right word, because we didn't get the client yet. It was just on the hopes that we'll get it.
Yeah.
But as you say, when you put everything into it, we get it. And we actually got the home sold the right time, the factory made the right time, and the client came in. So obviously within, and I'll tell you, Kaushal, how it supported us was this move. Actually, within a year of starting Samosa Singh, we became one of the largest manufacturers of samosas, because this client may not have given us too much money, but at least has helped us build the capability. Generally people make a few hundred samosas in a day, and then they slowly scale it up. For us, it was, quite a big leap.
Yeah, that's an absolutely amazing story. Getting that challenge right at the beginning, and that's such a critical part of your business as well, right? Volume. So on the website, the first three words are "Garma Garam Samosa," right? So tell us a little bit about the story. Why samosas? And how did you guys create the brand? Were you guys always fans of samosas growing up? I'm sure you still are, but why a samosa brand?
Actually, the story behind this is little weird, which we sometimes feel shy to, tell. But anyways, since you have asked, so actually this idea came up when I was studying in my post grad in Hyderabad. So I used to go to SBI to get my stipend as a part of curriculum. So you know how public sector bank works. So like exactly at the lunchtime, you have a huge queue, and they stop working, and it was very hot and humid. And everybody was feeling little hungry, because since it was a lunchtime. So I saw a lot of people going outside, bringing in some stuff inside. So I got also curious. And let's go outside and see what's going on. So to my surprise, there was a small vendor outside selling these street food kind of stuff, and mainly the samosa was selling like a hot cake. And within few hours, it was like out of stock. And he had created multiple batches, and again out of stock. And most and lot of customers would be like, because they were getting, because samosa is something like when it cooks, it gives a lot of aroma. So
Yeah.
you crave for those things. You start get salivating. So that's how people get attracted toward that stall and start enjoying that samosa. So that's how I got the idea ke चलो लेट्स, जहां पर SBI ना वहां पर तो हम एक समोसे का स्टॉल लगा ही देते हैं, because then we will never go out of business, because queue will always be there and public sector bank will work like this only.
And I was in Gurgaon working, and I continuously kept getting calls from Shikhar.
And scalability also, it's, I thought कि यार SBA, there are thousands of SBA in India, so scalability also you can see it's really good.
And I was in Gurgaon. We were not married at that time, and I was in Gurgaon. I was working, and continuous calls came. I could sense something is very urgent. I picked up the call. What is it? He said, I got a tremendous business idea. We're going to open samosa shops across all SBIs. I said, are you serious? You are, studying and, focus on that. What is samosa? I mean, you're not there to, just cook the samosas, because that's the first thing kind of. But trust me, this idea and this samosa click never actually left us, because deep inside our heart, we knew that this is a product which needs no introduction. And what was more surprising also was we are actually originally from north part of India. So we thought that samosa belongs to the North Delhi, this side.
Yeah.
Even I thought that when we spoke about Samosa Singh, and then Varun told me like a lot of the base is Bangalore. So I thought it might be in the north. So it's interesting you bring that.
Actually, yeah. So in north, so it's like, and any party is incomplete without samosa, be it a birthday party or any party, samosa is must. And obviously, as a kid, we used to see this on many different occasions. But we always thought. So we did some research during that time, like can this snack be a king? So it's called. In fact, in other countries, it has been conferred as king of Indian snacks. Okay. So we just got curious at that time and did some research, and to our surprise, it's not only north and eastern part where it is known that samosa is one of the most selling snacks in India, but in south and in the western part also we saw there is a huge demand of these snacks particularly. So when we used to visit any cinemas in South in Bangalore, because we were here from past 10 years, we used to go there and see, samosa is one of the main item which sells in multiplexes.
Right.
So that is the first product which get out of stock. So that's how, that kept building a strong case in our mind, like this snack has some good potential. And most importantly, that this snacks was all unorganized. So it used to sell, and now also it's unorganized, majorly 99% in India. So it's been sold by most of the, all the local street vendor. Only few traditional brands like Haldiram, Almond Sweets, they are doing to some level, but that's not a core for them. Maybe Bikaner and all. So that's how it clicks, and so that this idea should be organized, because Indian snack industry has been always been unorganized from past lot of years. So that's a great opportunity. So that's how this idea clicked, and we started working on this.
That's great. That's great. Now I want to understand about the two people I'm interviewing right now on that couch, right? You guys are a husband-wife duo who run a business. Very simply, does it make it easier or does it make it harder? And how is the business split? Who takes care of sales or marketing? Who takes care of ops? Can you just walk us through that?
Sure. So let's break this question into different parts. First was, yes, husband-wife duo, is it easy? Is it tough? It's both. It's definitely both. They're both sides to this question. Like, let me just tell you the easier part, that yes, you understand each other a lot. We've known each other for almost 18 years now. So it's a very long association, and we understand the level. I mean, we've got that level of understanding. So obviously you're more, tolerance level is higher. You understand more. You're together for the thick and thin. At least you don't have to think about the seriousness of the business and other things. So that's definitely the easier part. The challenging part definitely is, yes, compartmentalizing work and personal space. That is the biggest challenge. You cannot miss out on not bringing office home. It stays with you right from the office till the kitchen, till the bedroom, till the hall. It carries with you everywhere. And I think it took us a lot of time to kind of stagger through it or compartmentalize a little bit. We are still working around it, because definitely business takes the core or the primary this thing, but we are slowly working towards it, or how to do it better.
And
I think who takes care of what? Yes, though we are both scientists and biotechnologists, but we have our different forte. I've been always into the sales and the marketing side of the healthcare sector. So I understand the dynamics of, the sales, the customer excellence and marketing side. So that's where I focus on, even in Samosa Singh.
Yeah.
And
rest of the stuff like back-end supply chain, production, R&D, and finances. So those things I take care.
Nice.
Now, has always been like this. Shikhar has always been into the research and development side, into the process
So I was in Biocon, so I used to take care of R&D.
Yeah.
So I have good experience in that. So
yes.
Great. I think that you guys have a balance between the two sides. And now I'm moving on a little bit from your journey to the brand, right? So a big part of like the early expansion story and the success was, like you said, partnerships with Inox, with mega retail stores, with CCD and so on. Now, the last 18 months must have called for a slight change in that plan, I'm sure, right? How have you guys had to take a step back and modify that strategy?
So before COVID, obviously we had almost more than 50% of our business was running on B2B with all these clients, and we did some trials much before COVID. We started with a restaurant kind of setup at Samosa Singh, and slowly we tested on the cloud kitchen concept also before that. And those and we had some couple of store in multiplexes as well, like walking kind of store. So it was a mix mixed portfolio, but 50% was, you can say, from B2B and 50% running from the all other channels.
And we had started getting requests like before this meeting, right? We were discussing that how you've tried our products in multiplexes. So when people would go inside and try it on a multiplex, it would come at a premium price.
Right.
And then people would be like, if we want to have samosas outside multiplexes, how do we order? Where do we get it? That's when, one counter started catering to it, like one of our kiosks. But then because samosa is all linked with celebration, people, fun, parties, people would come, pack it, take it away, or we would get a lot of delivery orders. So that's why we were already contemplating, because the market demand picked up towards deliveries, supplying it to their homes, lots and lots of home delivery requests coming in. So we had already started pivoting a little bit from the B2B model into the direct to the consumers through these small setup or the counters.
And
so
yeah, obviously after COVID we saw a huge dip in B2B because many businesses shut down. So some businesses had to go through a tough times, and we were also very skeptical because a lot of our working capital was getting stuck in all these B2B clients. So we have to take a call, like, do we really want to go in this direction and always be hungry for the investments, big chunks of investment just for the working capital? So then consciously we took a decision, because Cloud Kitchen, we don't face any these kind of issues, and it's pretty much straightforward. And that's the way I think we connect with our audience more. In B2B, there is a limited connect with the audience, but in B2C is and if we want to go, become a brand and we create a brand identity, then direct to customer is the only way, we can focus. So that's how we changed. We pivoted our whole business. We cut down all the loose ends, on the B2B sides and all, and start focusing on Cloud Kitchen expansion.
Yeah, in fact, in the last 18 months of COVID, I think we have worked the hardest. We've because ours was under the essential. So it's after taking all the necessary precautions and safety protocols, etc., we continued to work throughout the lockdown. And in fact, within that lockdown, we saw the demand increase considerably, because obviously, if earlier, let's say a city like Bangalore, if earlier we had 7 outlets, we saw the demand even more, and that's why we opened much more. So just between the lockdown, I mean, in the last COVID phase, we have opened more than 27 stores.
Wow.
And we've even entered into new cities, because that's where we saw the demand coming up really nice. So definitely it was a challenging phase, because like Shikhar mentioned, more than 50% of our business was shut. But then how we leveraged and, kind of continued to stick on the remaining 50% and build onto is what were we focusing
and
on.
We were fortunate that we tested Cloud Kitchen much before, so we had idea how to run it and how to scale it, and we were able to do quite fast, and we could able to reach to the similar pre-COVID revenues in within no time. So and in fact now we have grown much beyond with 5 cities.
That's amazing. I think sometimes there are various challenges, but it's how you guys overcome it which is important, right? And now you've done kind of both. You've done the B2B side, now it's direct to consumers. So I mean, it's great to hear. Now, I have another question about the brand, right? I once read that your samosas are about 50% healthier than what one might find on the street, right? But my question is healthier a good proposition for someone looking for a snack? What if you just tell them this is the most tasty samosa? In your experience, like, is health food a fad, or does it actually translate into sales?
So Kaushal, Samosa Singh is in and out purely indulgent brand. Okay. We never ever promote our samosas as healthy. Right. We definitely tell people that, by the way, what you're eating is a healthier option, but we never promote. We tried it once. It was with one of the B2B clients. They loved our product, that it's less greasy, and they said, let's promote it. And trust me, the minute you write 50% less calories, it gets registered at 50% less tasty.
Yes, I think
that's what happens. I mean, this is the fact. Yeah. So what we sell is purely fried samosas, absolutely indulgent, no doubt about this. And we've never, we are not even into the baked one. Yes, we have one counter at the airport where we sell baked samosas, because frying option was not there. But there also our samosas are called as butter baked samosas, because we very wonderfully brush it with butter and then bake it. So certainly it's a healthier alternative, because our crust is processed in such a way that it doesn't absorb too much oil. So therefore, when you kind of compare it, it's definitely non-greasy. It's not dripping with oil. It's a healthier alternative, but it certainly is a.
And moreover, these samosas and all these street food are never been, you never eat these things when you want to have something healthy. It's all craving driven food. You want to indulge in that, enjoy the food. So that's the reason, like, we never, we take pride definitely in, we have best samosas. We have different, flavors of samosa, tasty samosas, crispy samosas. But yes, healthy is not, not the main USP, but obviously, like Nidhi said, it's a healthier counterpart, like, because some people take pride in, so, and they enjoy even more. Some people enjoy even more by knowing, it's healthier. It has less calories, and yet the taste is very,
no, I think that's a very refreshing take that you guys have given. And that's the exact reason I asked this question, right? Because I've always wondered, it's tough to sell health as well, right? And then I feel you end up segmenting a particular set of consumers, which, so that's great to hear. Now, my next question is, we spoke about it being an unorganized kind of market, right? Like 99% or a huge amount of this is unorganized, right? How do you guys bring organization to a sector that's largely unorganized? These local samosa vendors, do you think of them as competition, or do you think of them as collaborators almost, getting more people to eat samosas? How do you think of it like that?
Definitely, when there is a samosa vendor in any nearby vicinity, so demand is there. So as well as that, because these people stand or put their things, if only and if it's sellable. So basically, one thing is, like, you get the market research done from these things. In this area, some particular brand is there who is selling a crazy number of street food items, and definitely demand is there. And on in terms of the competition part, we don't consider ourselves as a competition to these people, because there are many other factors which are involved in our prep of food and how they do. First is obviously the hygiene part, which comes into picture when it comes to, so no matter how kind of vendors, these people doesn't care much on the hygiene part, but we take utmost care. We have a quality control at back end, as well as our front end stores as well. And these are the things, like, we are very much concerned, because obviously, and during these COVID times, in fact, these things are becoming even more valid, that you have to take care of the safety protocols and all.
So Kaushal, also, there definitely is a huge demand, and that's what is getting justified and validated by the local players. Now, even if we talk about online ordering or the cloud kitchens, let's take an example of not samosa, but maybe another product such as biryani. Let's take a biryani example. You have so many players of biryani out there in the market, and that's why even these online aggregator channels keep showing biryani. This kind of thing is very positive. I mean, I'm sure some people might take it like a competition, but trust me, this is not competition. This is a blessing in a way, because the more a product is featured, the more those pictures are shared, the more customers see it, and the more customers crave for it. So it's really nice. I mean, I would want samosas to be visible everywhere. It may not be mine, it could be Anand Sweets or anything, but what matters is samosas to be one of the core product or the Indian street foods. And automatically the craving happens, people come up, the universe is huge. So, there's enough demand out there. And I think that's particularly the reason why Barish, these kind of weather is always associated with samosas and other things, because thanks to our unorganized Indian snacks market, they've actually created a nostalgia around it. So I think for us, it's a very positive take. In fact, our first counter that we opened up, and the first store was near to a very unorganized market.
So apart from this, there are many USPs of our product associated, because we have done a lot of research. It's not just, we just hand folded any samosa and even with the normal frying technique. So we have adopted a lot of technology in the back end as well, apart from the front end, like how one of the biggest problem which samosa faces, because since now it's all online delivery, so it should go to home, and it takes time. Earlier it was like people go to the vendor and have crispy samosa just coming out of the kadhais.
Almost sometimes they eat it too hot and then they end up burning their tongue.
So it's like you feel it fresh, and but when it comes to a home deliveries, there is always a time associated, so 30 minutes to 45 minutes. and in 45 minutes everything is gone. So your crispiness is gone, and samosa doesn't taste like samosa. So that this problem we understood in the very beginning, and we started working on that. And so we adopted certain things at our back end, how the dough composition on the frying technology, all these things, and we were able to make samosas which can stay crispy for longer period of time. And so that's how we introduce actually our samosas in multiplexes, because multiplex for 6 hours.
Even the aviation industry, we were one of the biggest suppliers even in the airlines.
So there also this was the problem. So we solved this issue, like for 6 hours also, if you put it in a normal oven or in any hot case, it stays crispy. It will not lose the crispiness. And now this has become one of our greatest USP, and we give us a top notch basically standpoint in terms of our competitor or whoever, like the vendors, that we are able to serve customer at home also those freshly cooked samosas which they savor at the counters.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating to hear all of these stories, and it's with our traditional Indian snacks and stuff that you're seeing more technology being involved, and shelf life and stuff. All of those challenges are being taken care of. The customers might not realize it directly, but it has a huge impact for you guys. So it's great to hear that you're pointing that out. Maybe this question now is for Nidhi. Like, how did you guys think about marketing? You had a great name, check. I think Shikhar helped with that name is what I've read. You had a snack that everyone loves, check. How did you plan to market the brand? I was going to ask you about positioning, but you spoke about positioning. But now, how do you think about marketing today? Like, there's so many channels, right? So how do you guys work on your marketing?
See, currently, definitely, I mean, when we started, our main marketing channels were all these presence that we had in multiplexes and other things, because we are like a hardcore startup, right? Which started from scratch. So we definitely did not have too much money to invest in billboards or other big media kind of things where we can promote. Initial couple of years was all about our visibility on various portals that we had. One major substantial step that we had taken is that each and every samosa of ours is branded. Basically, our samosa has Samosa Singh embossed on it, and that is also in a way very cool thing which people have loved. And also it kinds of brings about that love or that ownership that we have with the brand or the product. In terms of marketing, to be very honest, I think till date it has only been the word of mouth, being present here and there. Yes, we now have a national presence in terms of a very small but a nice and a cute counter at the airport, which has got quite a lot of eyeballs grabbing. But our major mode of marketing currently is our channels of sales, which we do through the marketing aggregators. So we are present there. We let people know that we do, and we've positioned ourselves as typical India snacking, and that's what we mainly do. About good thing about our branding is because it's Samosa Singh, it's right there in the name what we sell and what we stand about.
Yeah, I think you guys, I wanted to comment that you guys have a great website as well. I'm not sure who wrote it. Maybe you guys contributed to some of the words as well, but it's very raw and the pictures are great. So it's a great website. I was just going through it.
Everything in-house.
I can imagine.
We are in and out, very basic way of starting and working.
All right. Now, just one last serious question before we move to some fun stuff is, what are some of the toughest challenges you guys had to overcome? And what are the 1, 2, or 3 things you guys feel you got absolutely right? Like if you didn't get these things right, Samosa Singh would not be where it is today. So maybe one big challenge and one thing that you got perfectly right, you think? Yeah.
Challenges, quite a lot. I mean, pinpointing just one, quite a lot, but I think challenges keep coming up.
It's keep coming, but the challenges which you face in the very beginning of your ventures you feel are the most tough, because that time you are very least experienced in terms of facing the challenges, as well as in terms of less experience in terms of being an entrepreneur. So that feels tough always. And as you grow, the challenges keep coming handy and you can solve them better. So one of the, I think, biggest challenge which we faced till now is during the first corporate client when we got. So that's where the story of house selling also linked actually. So think Nidhi can
Yeah.
explain that.
So these things happen. Like, I mean, yeah, what Shikhar is referring to is a very interesting story. We got a one big order, and that order was about 8,000
8,000
samosas.
Yeah.
We
in a
actually,
day.
in a day. And that was first few
So that
months
was like
into the
first few
business.
months, and that time we were doing 300 samosas a
It
day.
sounds like the plot of a movie. Ki like, kal jaake
It is.
jeet
Trust
liye
me.
to
And
yeah.
it
So
was like,
300 samosas say we have to make 8,000, and we were like shocked. Like 300 till, and those 300 were also very tough for us, by the way, because when we used to sell in restaurant, so that 300 also get to over in the evening time, and then we were able to manage only 100 more in a day. And we had a limited staff, obviously limited funds, everything was running on the bare minimum, in the bare minimum manner.
no, I think we should tell that story. That will be a great thing of all that we have said, and how our thinking are very different also, and helping us in different domains. So it was like we were supposed to deliver that order of 8,000 samosas at 10 in the morning. And we were really working hard. The entire night we worked, we brainstormed on how to make the samosas and how to do it. Not getting into the details, but yes, we were finally able to do it, and we decided that we're going to fry the samosas first thing in the morning at 6, so that they're hot, crispy when delivered to the client. While we were doing the final this thing, we had just come into our home for that small break, because everything was done and it was just a matter of frying. The minute we entered our home, we get a call that something is not right. All the samosas have opened up the minute you've put them in the fryer. And we were like, opened up means what? They just completely fell apart, opened up. And when we went to the factory at 6:30, we realized that actually we did not even have half of the samosas to sell, because they were literally falling apart and they just came out. We were so new and we just couldn't know what to do. And obviously our team, I mean, our cooks or the team, they were perplexed. They didn't know. They had put in a lot of hard work. It's not even their fault. And Shikhar and I were just looking into it and doing. Now, my thought process, because it's all client driven, was how do I manage the client? How do I fulfill the order?
Yeah.
Shikhar's thought process, because that's how he's oriented, his what went wrong? What did we do wrong? Why did this happen? We definitely sometimes have this kind of a conflict that how can you think about that? And he'll be like, this is equally important. How do we manage it? We split up and we decided, you figure out the first part, I'll figure out the second part. Obviously, we had no option but to supply, because otherwise it's a client at stake. We had certain samosas, other automated kind of a manual done and other things.
No,
So
actually that
basically,
time we were not automated.
Automated nahi,
So it
matlab
was
wo,
all manual kind of
but
thing.
we had certain encrusted samosas for our outlet that we had in place, and those samosas were the paneer samosas and others. So basically we pumped the team. We told them, it's okay, don't dishearten, we already have 50% stock left. Let's try to make as much as possible. We run a competition, let's see who makes the fastest samosa, and we also participated in it, obviously to fail, but that was enough momentum for them to keep going, because they've been working throughout night. We were able to roll out at least most of the samosas. We were able to sabotage it. Whatever was pending, we had to give them paneer samosas, obviously a premium one at the rate of the basic one, but that didn't matter at that point in time. So we were able to kind of do it. And then while we were almost ready, we reached the spot, and we didn't even get the vehicle, which was supposed to deliver, because we were just 3-4 months. So we had taken a very old third, fourth, second hand, I don't know which hand, Omni vehicle. And the driver didn't come, the vehicle didn't come. We took that Omni vehicle.
First thing was it got I think punctured as soon as we started from the factory. So we had to change the Stephanie, and when it reached to the location, just
and Shikhar
outside,
was driving, right?
So I was driving.
The
and
driver was not there.
I was taking the samosas. So just outside the facility where we had to take the samosa. So
police
traffic
caught
guy
us.
caught us.
Oh, no.
And why he did
Actually,
catch us? Because the vehicle didn't come, right? So we had loaded the Omni, and he was like, commercial kind of a thing on an Omni vehicle. So
it was tough to manage, to tell traffic guy, this is our first delivery, please let us.
And you know what he said? He said, take this entire consignment to the Thane. We said, yaar, Thane to jane nahi denge.
So we told you, please keep the car. That is not important to us, but give us the samosa. That is most
stock
important.
de do. We'll
Because
just deliver.
first delivery, first client, we cannot afford to lose. And then somehow we got convinced and we were able to take it inside. But that was a night, it was
It was
kind
a
of
nightmare.
a
It was very
nightmare for
tough.
us. Yeah.
And just to follow up to the question, what we did right, it's a learning from the same thing. We identified that sometimes, we do not pay attention to minor things. What went wrong was that the vendor actually supplied us a different quality or a different brand maida. Now, generally, different brands have different porosity, and obviously the water, how much you put, everything depends on that.
Yeah.
So we then identified that how important it is to create a proper process, do a very stringent understanding of every part. If one vendor is something that's finalized, let's have an alternate vendor and 2-3 vendors maida or raw materials to be finalized. Otherwise, these things are bound to repeat. So I think we really take pride in saying that we are our core is the manufacturing. We really pay a lot of attention to what we manufacture, the raw materials we use, how we source, how we make it. Everything is controlled at our central facility where we sit. So that's one of the things that we have done really right, because if you do not take care of the basics or the core, that's the foundation of your company, you'll not be able to scale up. Once you are then trying to scale, you'll definitely falter. And I think the second biggest strength, or the thing that we have, or I should say the the biggest strength, is our team. We've been blessed and fortunate to actually have great people working with us, phenomenal team. And in fact, our first employee is still with us, and he's now as our production manager, who used to be who started as a cook with us. So we absolutely take pride in it, and we are very fortunate that we've got a good bunch of team players with us, and we work very closely together.
That's wonderful. I think, thanks. That's one of the best stories we've heard on Decode so far. And for someone in the audience watching this later, they might make a short film or something about this, and, might not give you credit also, because it's such a great story, what all could go wrong kind of went wrong. But thanks for that. I think moving from this, we'll take you to a fun section. This is the first time we have come up with this section on Decode. So what we're going to do is, we call this section "Who Does This More?" So I'm going to ask you a question, and you guys need to point at either yourself if you do it more, or at your partner if you think he or she does it more.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. So understood, right? So if I ask who likes cricket more, you can either point to yourself or at her, or she can point it. All right. Good to go. All right. First question: who likes eating samosas more?
Both of us.
All right.
We both love.
Who is better at managing finances? Okay. Who comes up with more marketing ideas? Okay, that's a surprise. Who is more emotional? All right. Who works longer hours? Who is the early bird?
No one.
No one. No one. The fingers didn't go.
All right. Who is more often late for meetings?
That too,
No
no
one.
one.
Okay. Who has the last word always?
It depends actually, yeah, but
So, yeah.
This one is a
I
controversial.
have, and I feel she. So it's like that.
The next one is, who does your staff like more?
Staff like more.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm the bad cop.
All right. Who overthinks everything? All right. Who is always on their phone?
Yeah.
Okay. Last 2 or 3. Who says sorry more often?
Really? No.
You were pointing me.
And, okay. Final one. Who chooses the holiday destinations?
Actually, we both.
We both
So,
do
yeah.
it, but yeah, it's more like he drives
little
it.
bit
Yes.
more.
All right. Awesome, guys. Thank you for this. Who does this more? This is the first time we did this in
It's
Decode.
fun for us also. We also liked it.
This actually, like, it's not as dramatic as how you guys delivered samosas, but I called Varun like 20 minutes before this episode, and I was like, let's do something new. And then he drafted the question. So it was fun. Now, just like a last couple of questions before we let you guys go is tell us today, where the brand is and what are your expansion plans going forward? Uh, what's expected of the brand going forward?
Sure. I mean, let me start and then Shikhar will certainly add. We started very small. We started with Bangalore as a city. Then currently we are in four major cities, which is Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai, and Pune. We have launched just today. So today is our launch day for
Wow,
Pune.
congratulations.
Yes, we are now expanding into the west part of India with Maharashtra, which is Mumbai and Pune. So it feels good to be present in four major cities now. And you know how we started. And today, discussing with you, Kaushal, it has actually brought up all those memories back again, and we feel even more happy and charged up that how from that small kitchen and now in four cities, it really feels good. So in terms of our expansion
Yeah, so
plan,
we are total now around 40 kitchens we have opened, and expansion plans will be, we'll be keep opening some more outlets in the southern part of India. Like we'll be covering up some more cities, like we are evaluating some cities like Chennai and all, and we'll be reaching around 100 kitchens in another 6 to 8 months. And post that, obviously, we have a plan to go to the north, and there also we have similar kind of kitchens, 100 200 kitchens to open. So
Yeah,
by, you can say, in another 2 years we have a aim to reach to about 300 kitchens.
so next year, we'll be actually catering to you at your home in
Yeah.
Gurgaon, because that's obviously when we get to North Delhi, Gurgaon, Noida is the core, is the hub. So
that's
yes,
wonderful.
we are,
I wish you guys the best of luck, and I'm waiting for that day to try your wide menu of.
no, certainly. So are we, even we are excited. Yeah.
uh, what words of advice do you guys have for entrepreneurs? Because I'm sure you've inspired many to kind of start at a slightly young age and to overcome challenges. So, what words of advice do you have for entrepreneurs?
I have one suggestion, like, because I think I felt that I have to face that thing same, and I am sure many entrepreneur would have faced this question many a time, like what is the right time to start? Because many people face this question, okay, do I start now? Do I earn a little
Yeah.
bit more? Do I should have more savings, or should I first seek for investment and start something? But I always feel there is no right time to start. You always, anytime when you are, you feel you are ready enough to do a small proof of concept also, to test your idea, that's the right time. And you should start without even giving a second thought, and without keeping a, and it has always been my strategy, like, though nowadays that strategy has been changed a little bit, that people seek for the plan B, like what if we fail. So my strategy has always been like, I never keep this option, okay, what if we fail, because when we keep this option ready at back of our mind, it's always, we feel safe,
Yeah.
and don't put much effort on the plan A, and there is always a 50-50 probability of failure. And you always keep, and when you reach to a plan B, then again one plan B, another plan B comes up into the picture. So this is what, like, when we start, we should have only plan A, and there is no right time to start.
And this actually is a little, I mean, it's not a very soothing feeling to have, because when you're working, I mean, anyone who wants to be an entrepreneur, obviously you're currently in your cushy lifestyle. It's easier to say or plan on the Excel sheets, but when it's about reality, a lot of other factors come in. It's easy to say, yeah, I'll be okay out of my comfort zone, but it's not so easy. It's not so easy. I mean, you feel that it's easy, but when you really hit it at that point in time, it's certainly not easy. And not even having an option B is equally challenging.
Yeah.
For us, like, I mean, I don't know if many of people know, but Shikhar actually quit his job almost 9 months prior to starting our first outlet. So before we started earning, for 10 months he was jobless, and for another 1 year he didn't even draw a single rupee as a salary. Why? Because he was just onto it. Definitely it was the biggest risk we had taken, but would I want to change anything about it? No. I think we could have done it a much earlier also, because that also showed me the level of the commitment we had. Certainly I continued to work for a certain period of time, because we any which ways had to fend it, but it's more like calculative risks that you take. And I think my only suggestion, or one biggest advice to any budding entrepreneur, would be that there are times which are very tough. You just need to hold on to it, because certainly things definitely get better. as and when you keep trying for it. And definitely invest in a good team. It's important to
Very important.
actually
Yeah.
work with people who resonate the similar mindset as you do, who are working with the same mission and vision. That's very important.
That's amazing, guys. That's amazing. Now we are moving on to what is normally the fun bit of our conversation. But for you guys, we had two fun bits. But it's a small little rapid fire. I made it shorter because we had the previous segment. But I'm going to ask you guys some questions and you both can kind of give me your answers. So let's get started.
Sure.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Dining in or home delivery? What do you guys prefer?
Home delivery.
Dining in. For me,
Right. Do you prefer profitability or hyper scaling?
Long term, yes, profitability for me.
it's important that the body pumps its own blood.
Yeah.
That's well said. Um, your favorite samosa from your own menu?
Masala corn.
Chicken tikka.
Okay. How often do you guys order from outside yourselves?
We do
Yeah, we
quite
do
often.
pretty
like,
often. I think two, 3 times in a week.
Yeah.
Okay. Your favorite cuisine, if you have one?
I like Mughlai food more.
I like traditional, like Indian cuisines more.
Okay. What do you guys like doing to relax?
We have multiple things that we like doing. We actually take a lot of breaks in terms of we
We
go
go for a
out
vacation.
vacationing, work vacations. We travel a lot. We
Yeah.
like to travel a lot. So we have explored a lot of things. Like the recent one we explored was the entire Karnataka, the Western Ghats,
Wow.
within Karnataka. So it's a good, that's what relaxes us.
Great. Then my next question is your favorite holiday destination or trip you've taken that you enjoyed?
So
Multiple.
we went to Europe actually much before
Yeah.
Samosa Singh. So that was one of the
Wonderful.
most memorable trip.
Because that was our one of the most the longest and the initial trips. Yes, it's been nice. I even one of the trips I like is the latest one we did. It was a New Year's Eve where we did a skydiving in Pokhara, just with Himalayas all around.
Yeah.
Okay,
So that
you
was
guys are
also,
serious travelers then. It's not something you guys do casually. Like you take it very, that's great.
Yeah, in year we don't settle less than 5 to 6 trips.
yeah, but sometimes it's like nearby, sometimes it's long ones, but yes.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
the recent one was also this thing Andamans, which was very unexplored. Nicobar, Andaman Islands, beautiful.
Nice. Do you guys have a favorite movie?
We
Yeah.
actually, yeah, a lot of them. We are mostly about biopics and sports movies, those action driven, which puts that adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
I think we like Rocky. For me, Rocky 4 is my favorite movie.
Yeah. So
And Shikhar made me watch it, obviously, all at one.
So I think that movie we have watched most.
Yes, I like it. I like that.
Okay, last question. Do you guys have a favorite book or a book that motivated you?
Yes, I do. Yep.
Which one is it?
My favorite book would be, I like a book, Ikigai. That's
Yeah.
a nicely written book. I'm also reading a latest book, which is The Lessons of Life from Gaur Gopal Das. It's a very a twisted take on what kind of lessons we all learn and how we don't really, how much do we dive into it. It's an interesting read.
So
And
I don't read much, but yes, I have a couple of books which I have taken into consideration. So Monk Who Sold His Red Ferrari,
it's a
it's a
nice
classic. I've read 2 times.
Okay. And just before we let you guys know, I understand that you guys got integrated with UrbanPiper earlier this year. So just wanted to understand how your experience has been. What are some of the problems you've been able to solve with UrbanPiper, and any words on your experience so far?
So I think with UrbanPiper we have recently started working, and I think team is quite happy the way things are going on. And
it's great, Kaushal,
Yeah.
because it's very important that all these channels that we do sales in cloud kitchens, right? Sometimes it's staggered across locations. Like now we are like by the end of next month, we'll already be 50 outlets. So it's very important to have an integrated system where we get a very clear idea on what's going on, where it's going on and everything. So I think UrbanPiper and other technology linked with this has helped us
to,
in streamline and aggregate the things so far.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you guys. I think it's been an absolutely wonderful conversation. We've learned so much about your business, learned about you guys, and I'm sure the audience will absolutely enjoy it. So thank you for taking your time out with us today.
Thank you, Kaushal. It was really nice.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and leave a comment below, and subscribe to stay updated with the latest in the food tech industry with UrbanPiper.